All right, everyone. Welcome to the College Cinema Talk Show here. I'm Ryan Marister, and I have two co-hosts here, and Greg Abbott and Connor Newton. And we're going to be on here. We're going to be talking about some movies and TV shows, just some fun, in-depth discussions about what we think of these, these shows and movies. So, I kind of wanted to start off by letting them introduce themselves. So, I don't know, Connor, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name's Connor, as Ryan said. I go to Arizona State University. We're all college students, and we're by no means professionals on any of the stuff we're talking about here. We're just trying to, get our thoughts out there and have a conversation about what people our age kind of think about movies and TV shows and stuff like that. Yeah, Greg, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I'm Greg. I'm also studying political science at ASU as well, and yeah, we just thought that this would be a cool thing to do because we love talking about movies and arguing, and
There you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess it's worth adding that I do go to SMU in Dallas. But yeah, so we wanted to start it off so the first movie that we're going to be talking about on this episode of the podcast is the very first Marvel movie in the entire Marvel universe, Iron Man 1. All right, so we're going to be starting off with the OG movie here. I don't know how we want to start this off, if we want to just kind of walk through the beginning of the movie, or if we want to give our general thoughts on the entire thing. Maybe we could have, I don't know, Connor, do you have any thoughts on general
Here's
thoughts
what I
or first
think
thoughts?
what were your
Yeah.
guys what are your general impressions of the movie overall? Do you like it?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I just thought as I was watching it, we thought this would be the most appropriate movie to do first because we are diehard MCU fans and all that, and I love how it all pieces together. With the last decade or so is all come together in a really cohesive way. And I really as I was watching the movie, I was I haven't seen it in so long. I think 2011 or something was the last time. And I was just thinking, wow, how just watching this and just being just overwhelmed with how much has taken place since that movie, and how it all just so came together in such a neat way, with so many different moving parts. And this is the first thing. So I think this is a really cool movie to watch.
No, yeah, I agree. I don't know. I've told Connor and Greg that my favorite Marvel character is Iron Man. I've talked about this a bunch. We've had a lot of debates about this in the past, but so I thought this was really cool. And I've also never watched this movie all the way through, so this is my first time really watching this full movie all the way through, which is kind of weird because Iron Man's my favorite MCU character, so that's kind of strange. But yeah, so I never watched this whole movie through, so it was really cool for me. And I don't want to get too in depth with it right now, but I don't know. I thought it was really cool just seeing Iron Man's whole Tony Stark's whole personality in this movie, especially in the first half hour or 40 minutes, and then just you compare that with just how much you've seen him in the other movies. And it's such a crazy arc that it hits.
Yeah,
and it's so cool to be able to see all that. And just see the differences and stuff. So I thought,
you go ahead.
All right, I know. I was just gonna say overall, I thought it was you asked if it was a good movie, if I liked it. I thought I definitely liked it. I mean, I think the goal of the movie was just to just provide a base for their first character. And I thought they were just trying to provide a basic backstory of Iron Man. So, but I thought it did its job, and I thought it was fun. I don't know.
Yeah, when was it? The Captain America came out 2010.
Yeah, do you know, Connor?
No, 2011. 2011 I think was Captain America, and 2008 was Iron Man.
Wow, so 3 years.
So was it a 3-year gap between the first and did Iron Man 2 come out before the first Avenger?
It did.
Okay.
Iron Man 2 came out in 2010. Yeah.
Okay. So there were 2 Iron Man movies and then the first Avenger.
Yeah, but there was also the Incredible Hulk, which nobody talks about.
Oh yeah, no one talks about it because Mark Ruffalo wasn't. Right, he wasn't in that movie, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I disregard that movie too.
I like Ed Norton, but we'll say that for another day.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't even him. Half of it was just cheesy CGI.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Connor. What did you think of the overall movie? You think it was watching it? What did you think of it?
Because, like you said, you haven't watched it all the way through before, and Greg, last time he watched it, he said it was sometime around 2011, and I watch this movie all the time. It's on the TV all the time. My mom's always watching it.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it all at once, that recently, but I always see bits and pieces on TV. But even like being super familiar with this movie, there were stuff that I noticed, but actually like sitting down to watch it that I like hadn't noticed before. Different lines or like the like everybody talks about how great this movie is, at least in like fans of the Marvel world.
Sure.
And like when you're watching it, you can see like just how much time they put into like every single aspect. I think for the most part, like there's some little things that
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
that I didn't appreciate, but from the first like moment when they're like riding in the Humvee, there's like so many things that are established, like from the AC/DC like playing on the radio, like in the first scene, like that's become
Oh,
like a staple of Iron Man, and it's like
I love that.
fits his like
yeah, that was good.
personality so well,
Mm,
and then he also like brings out his humor in that first scene too, and he's like talking to the guys in the Humvee and stuff.
yep.
He's like cracking jokes with them. Um, so like I don't know, I just feel like everything was purposeful, and you could really see it in that scene.
Yeah, and I thought like something was interesting. I kept thinking about Tony Stark, as I was watching it. First of all, besides the extremely dark beard and like really thick mustache, which
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of.
Really?
Besides like the aesthetic of him, I was thinking about like, wow, this is like Robert Downey Jr. like one of his like the biggest gigs since he like had his drug problems and
Yeah.
all that, and how he's just like this is his first time playing Tony Stark, and I just kept thinking about what it was like in Endgame too, and I think like part of the thing is like he plays Tony Stark in a way that's like it's him. Like Robert Downey Jr. is like quite similar to Tony Stark. Like
Sure. Like if you
Yeah.
watch him in interviews, right?
right, you watch it,
And,
and
like
it's all
promoting the movie.
it's like
Yeah.
it's very short and like to the point. Like Tony Stark's kind of like that too. But I did
Just the
notice
way he
some.
talks.
Yeah, just the way he talks, just kind of like whatever.
I know what you
But
mean. Yeah.
yeah, but like just I don't know, just like the way the mannerisms are kind of the same. But I did notice some differences too. So it was just kind of cool to like
Yeah.
naturally
Yeah.
like there are differences too, and like Tony how he like progresses.
No, yeah, no, for sure. I mean, okay, he definitely like okay, I think he had like the best character arc in the entire MCU, but like again, we don't really need to go into that right now.
I agree with that.
So I don't know. I kind of wanted to, touch on maybe a different aspect of the movie, and this might not have been the point of the movie. I think the point of the movie, like I said, was just kind of establishing a backstory for Iron Man, right? Because
Mhm.
he's the main character of the entire thing, unless you argue Captain America is.
Yeah.
But like I felt that the villain was like I want to talk about the villain for a few minutes. I thought the villain was good,
Okay. Yeah.
but I also thought that like, and I guess it's dumb, but I don't know. I just thought it was just super predictable that the guy who was his dad's best friend that was there, overseeing him the whole time was gonna, try to get him killed and everything. I don't know. I wished that terrorist organization, when they introduced the leader of the terrorist organization and he walks in and it's all that like menacing music and they're like he's
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of wish he played a little bit of a bigger role. I kind of feel like he was there for the first half of the movie and then like the
Yeah.
guy came in and just like messed with him like with that like the paralyzer thingy, right? Where he
Mhm.
got paralyzed for 15 minutes and then he just kind
Yeah.
of left him there. I don't know. I mean, I get that's not the main purpose of the movie, but I just thought
Yeah.
I
it could
agree
have
with
been a
that.
little more. I don't know.
Well, I think
What do you?
when he first walked in, like what
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself is like, this guy like he's like super menacing, like you said, with the music
Yeah, of
and
course.
everything,
Yeah, exactly.
but he's like totally under like he's like so stale as a character. Like we don't know anything about him.
Oh,
We don't
yeah,
know
I know.
like who
I
he
know.
is or anything like that. And it's
Mhm.
like I know that they have to give more time, obviously, to the protagonist and the main villain and stuff. But I agree that it totally kind of felt like a little bit of like an empty space in there. I mean, I'll talk about Obadiah in a little bit if you want me to. But what do you have to say about that, Greg?
Yeah.
About Obadiah, or just about like the whole like
Just about the villain
terrorist
space
like
in
organization.
general. Yeah, the terrorist organization.
Yeah, I thought that too. I thought like in the beginning it was quite strong with them and stuff, but then as soon
Yeah.
as they revealed, they everybody could guess it because as you said, Ryan, like it was quite obvious that Obadiah had this plan from the beginning.
Yeah.
Typical story. Like maybe they could have. I think his backstory is important, but naturally, like that does
I know. Yeah.
reveal. Like you need it, but it's just
Like I
kind
don't
of
think the
setting.
villain was the primary. Like I don't think their goal going in the movie was like we're gonna make like the villain super like intricate and like I don't know. I don't
Right.
think that was the main goal of the movie, but
Yeah.
still.
No, I mean, I really like. Gosh, it's Jeff Bridges, right? Plays him.
Yes, Jeff Bridges. Yeah.
I really like him for that part. I don't know why he gives me
Oh yeah,
some
no,
sort of like
he did pretty
Thanos
good.
feel.
Yeah, he
Reminds
did
me
a
of
pretty good job.
Great
Thanos.
actor. Great
Reminds
actor.
me.
Yeah, he did a good
It
job.
reminds me of Thanos. I don't know why, but
Oh, interesting.
but I thought as soon as yeah, it showed like his connection with the terrorists. It really like mitigated the terrorists like
Yeah.
role, and it was kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, like yeah, these guys should be like, okay,
Yeah.
these guys are actually like kind of weak. Yeah,
I know
I don't
it's,
know.
yeah, no, Connor, it's not really the point of it, but I will say I thought it was so before I watched the movie, I kind of the only real scene I saw was him in that like cave. I saw like a scene of him in that first suit that he made in the cave, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
from it like from not watching it, I thought that like, you know, unreasonably that like most of the movie took place like there. So maybe that had something to do with my like,
Oh, interesting.
oh, what? Like why he got out at like the
Yeah.
35-minute mark. Like what is this?
I mean, I think that also his like the terrorist organization is like
Yeah.
it makes for some like interesting cinema, you know, like when you're watching it,
Yeah, sure.
like going to like the desert and stuff, and it's like that action scene where he like first puts test the suit and stuff.
Mhm.
And also like it's like a really strong motivating factor for his character that he sees like these weapons being used for like these misdeeds.
Yes.
And like that's like the turning point in like that's like his motivation, which
Yes.
you know, it kind of takes away some of like the time that you could put into like the villain's motivation. But for me, like it didn't really compromise it because I was so invested in like Tony Stark and his story and his kind of realization.
That's
that's
the main point of the movie, to introduce you to Tony Stark, who's a big pivotal figure in this MCU, but also like that's a good point. I think it just starts like that's just the starting of like revealing of how Tony Stark really like is he's a very he changes like
Oh yeah, no,
easily
drastically.
but
But that was
he's very
definitely
and so that kind of just
but
reveals like that geez like he is like a very malleable character, like he does change, he admits when he's wrong, and there's a line at the end where he's just like like, oh, I'm not a hero, like I've done all this blah 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 blah, and that really just kind of shows that is much of an arrogant person he is, like he is open to criticism and changing.
yeah. And what Connor said, I agree with the whole like that was his turning point. That was the moment where he realized what he wanted. Like he had like for the first time, I would argue in his life, he had like a a specific defined purpose with like a full goal and everything, right? Because okay, I was gonna compare him to Oliver Queen and Arrow because
okay.
I thought just the whole initial like fact that they're both just wealthy, they're super wealthy, and they didn't really they kind of played around. They didn't really care, right? They just did whatever they really wanted for their younger years. And for Stark, I don't know how old he was in this movie, but probably like what
They made him seem kind of young.
They made him seem kind of young. Like what is
especially
it? Like mid 20s.
Especially with Obadiah as like
Yeah.
a character there, like it's made Tony. It seemed like he was just like this, like like immature, like
yeah. But it just reminded me of Oliver Queen because they both had like a super like traumatic experience, with him in the desert and then Queen on the island, and like it just totally changed their mindset and gave them a primary like focus and drive of wanting to bring like justice to certain people who did others wrong, right? So like Tony Stark, he went to that desert, that village, and like killed them all, and then left the last guy for the villagers. Like that was like his first time. Like,
justice.
doing justice.
Well, also like something I thought was kind of like.
Thought of like because.
Huh.
Oh, did I interrupt you, Greg? It cut out for a second.
No, I want to hear what you're.
I was gonna say that like how we were talking about like how Obadiah is kind of like a stereotypical kind of villain, like he was the dad's best friend, and there's a question I want to pose to you guys about him, which is like I wonder if it's his portrayal is kind of like this typical kind of bad kind of like business mogul dude is like really intentional, like by the writers and like the filmmakers. Like I wonder if that was like their intention to have him kind of be like that stereotypical guy, because then it makes like Tony Stark and his personality like stand out more, like asking for like the cheeseburger before his press conference and stuff like that.
Oh, you mean it's just like
the difference
like a big contrast?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like Tony Stark is like so unique and different that like he just contrasts Obadiah Stane so much. And like, I mean, I don't even know like what his Obadiah Stane's motivation is. Like, is it money or power? Or,
I would
I don't
assume it's
know.
power. I would assume it's
I,
control,
yeah,
right? I would guess.
but it's not really complex at all. It's not
No,
like
yeah. It's
yeah,
not like there's like like layers of it. Yeah.
yeah. But it just seems like an interesting like. I wonder if that contrast was intentional, just to make Tony that much more likable with
I mean,
all
maybe
his
it's.
like quirks and whatnot.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
very possible. I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe. I thought the actor did a really good job. Uh, who played him? I thought he was best in like the first 2/3 of the movie. I thought he was like they just they just made him super crazy in the last like
Yeah.
fight. It
I
was
think it was.
really funny.
I think they kind of pulled like a Daenerys Targaryen thing there. Like they.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
He's
but
like, this is not really my thing, but I
yeah.
kind of like this suit or something like that.
Yeah, but he did do. I mean, he did do a really good job. So yeah, maybe. Like I liked him. I just was pointing out that it's a very common form of like villain.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe it very well could have been intentional. I mean,
I think so too.
I
But
don't
if you
know.
use the cheeseburger thing, I remember Obadiah like brought pizza.
Oh,
So,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
but maybe it's just
Uh,
because he knew that's what Tony liked. I don't know.
yeah.
He brought pizza to his house.
Yeah, no,
You
but
got me there. You got me.
Oh,
I agree with you though.
oh.
Like I see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Well,
So I thought he did. I thought he was a pretty good job. What were you gonna say? Something? I'm sorry.
well, I just think that like, um, one like thing that stood out to me was Tony's like interactions with the other people around him, like with Pepper and with
I
Rhodey.
was
Like
gonna bring that up.
the relationships are like so like in depth, and like the scenes that they have together like really show like how they feel about each other. And I don't know, initially I was kind of like, oh, what, like why is Rhodey friends with this guy? Like he's so like rude to him, like makes him wait at the plane for 3 hours
Yeah.
like that. But it goes deeper than that. And like the same with Pepper, they're like also loyal to each other, and like it kind of makes you feel good when you watch it. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, I wish I was in that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. I thought the Pepper dynamic was interesting, because of like, especially because I don't know, there's something there, but also like he takes that reporter back to his house, and
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
they make love, and it's like, and then he goes and dances with Pepper like the next day, and Pepper's like down there to like give her her clothes. So it's like, I don't know, like where they weren't dating, but like I don't know, it's just strange.
Yeah. And you can like see from her perspective that she's like, I don't want to dance, and then but he's like, what? And you like understand his perspective too, because he just likes her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I thought that was pretty cool. His whole because there were a lot of Pepper scenes in the movie.
I was
I thought
thinking
There
that
were.
like there were a lot of them. Like, do you
more
remember
than
the
she's
one?
ever.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. Like the one where she like switches out the art corrector thingy, right, in his
Yeah, yeah.
chest. Like there were. I mean, there were just a lot of them. Like she got like the hard drive with all the stuff
Mhm.
from The Office. Like there was a bunch of different. I don't know.
Well,
Like there were a lot of scenes with her in that. Like I think that was like the movie that she had the most screen time in.
yeah, I got
Maybe
emotional.
Maybe Iron Man 3. I don't.
Maybe,
Yeah,
but
I don't
I
like
got
remember.
the most emotional part was like when she made like the proof that Tony Stark has a heart thing.
Oh yeah, that was great. And that's like they introduced that, and then like it
Yeah.
comes back later because he needs it to like when Obadiah
Well,
takes his, and then like
yeah.
it's something they established earlier, and then it comes back. And, like,
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like how this all just ties together so nicely. Like that thing literally is in like the final like scene, like few moments
Yeah.
of Endgame. So it's just like, I don't know. It's so relevant to the first movie.
True.
I don't know.
True. And also like how this is kind of like a silly thing, but like his robot assistant dummy that he was like always like spraying him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that's one that hands him like his old arc reactor at the end too. Like I don't know, that's like kind of
Really?
like that's who hands him like the thing, and he's like good boy, and he's like
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was funny. I thought I would argue. Oh, I don't know. My favorite. I want to know what your favorite, like, what were your favorite parts of it? Because for me, I thought it was really cool just watching him like build the whole Iron Man suit, like the whole, that whole 20-minute
the
sequence
music
maybe.
in that part, and it's like
I know. It was so cool. Where you
Y-
just watch him
Yeah.
slowly build it. I thought it was really neat.
Oh yeah, I thought that was cool. I thought the part in the cave was a little cheesy because I was like, Okay, the people are literally watching him fit armor
I,
to his
I
own
know, I
body,
know. When
and they're
the
still
main, when the head guy came in and he looks at
right,
the plans and he's like, "What are you
right.
doing here?"
Well, I mean, his plans were also like layered on sheets of paper that he had to like put on top of each other to actually show them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
it was just kind of funny. Yeah.
But the part
It
where he
was,
actually makes Mark one,
yeah. I
yeah, the
thought that
part,
it was plausible, you know. And plus, they were like, "What are you making?" Like they were like wanted, like they did get suspicious, and like remember that guy came in and he was gonna like put the hot coals in,
yeah,
you
Yeah,
know?
no, I know. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that guy
eh,
Yeah.
when he walked in and saw.
Greg doesn't buy it.
eh.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I kind of agree with Greg, but still, I mean, it's fine. Like it's
But you have to
okay.
have it. You
I
have
don't know.
to
I
have
think
it.
that's my favorite part. Like,
Well,
cause
I would have.
The doctor was
especially
cool.
with Yinsen, like that character,
Well,
you know,
you
the
didn't
guy
need the.
who was like with him.
Yeah, the doctor guy, right, or whatever. I don't know if he was a
Yeah,
doctor.
yeah, he made that. He made those scenes great. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
no, I agree. But like, you could have done it without having them like have the ability to have a camera to see in. Like, I mean, they're in the middle of the desert in a cave. Like, they don't need the camera. You know,
I guess
like
so. I mean, maybe they're just worried because Tony Stark or something.
It's yeah. I
I
mean,
don't know.
but I mean, we're talking about small stuff here. But yeah,
no, I
Yeah,
know, I know.
no, but yeah,
Let's not
I
this
know. But
small
like
stuff is the best
I thought
stuff.
of the
Come
same thing
on.
as Greg. Yeah, I thought
let's
of
not
it.
get off onto a tangent. But anyway, the cool suit when he was making like the first like suit, like
Yeah,
his like
that's really
actual suit,
cool.
I was like, whoa, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Mm. Well, speaking of that scene, also like when he's like, "Oh, power the suit up," and then Yinsen is like, "Oh, I'm gonna go buy you some time," and he like runs out there with the gun, and then he like gets shot, and then when he goes to see like when he goes to talk to Tony,
Mm.
or no, sorry, when Tony comes across him like dying, and he's like, "No, we're gonna get you out of here," and he's like, "No, it's okay," and then he says like, "Don't waste your life," and you're like, "Whoa!" Like after watching like the entire MCU, you're like, "Dang!" Like
He
we
didn't
know
waste
what
his
the
life.
rest of Tony's life is like, yeah, and it's like
Yeah, that
Yeah.
part
that's
gave me chills.
really key, you know?
See, it all
Mm.
ties together. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys noticed, but the town that Yinsen was from is the town that was like being terrorized later in the movie that Tony goes to save.
Oh, really? It was that same town?
Yeah, yeah, at the same
Oh,
time. I noticed the name was the same. Yeah,
okay.
cool
Really.
era. Yeah,
I didn't catch that, but no, that's cool. Yeah.
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 Wait, what did you guys think about the scene where Potts is in his Obadiah's office trying to get the
Oh,
data, and I was like, ooh, I don't know. I thought that was a little. I was like, he
I
didn't
don't
do
know.
much.
Yeah,
He seemed really suspicious at the beginning when he walks in. Like he seems like he knows what she's doing. But again, maybe this is intentional. Maybe like that scene's from her perspective, right? Like if he walks
yeah,
in and he says something like that, from her perspective, it's like, uh-oh, like I got caught.
yeah.
But then
That's
really
true.
like he's just walking in saying like some kind of obscure stuff and then like he doesn't actually
What
know
did
what
he
she's
say?
doing.
What was it he said?
Huh? Well, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he was saying something about like, what are we gonna do about this or something?
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
he walks
Said,
in
I
saying
remember
like,
that.
so what are we gonna
What?
do about? Yeah,
I
Well,
mean,
no,
what would
he's
you
saying,
say if someone was in your office? I mean, I don't know. I might say
I'd
something
say,
like
get
that.
out
but
of
no,
my office right
was it his
now.
office? Was it? Are you sure it was his office? I think it was
Yes,
Tony's.
it
No,
was his
because
office.
are you sure? Because he was pouring the was it scotch or something? And he said Tony always has the best, and I'm pretty sure it
Oh,
was
that's
Tony's.
true. And the screensaver was like a hot rod thing too.
I'm pretty sure it was Tony's.
I don't
But
know,
also,
but
like, why would there be like that kind of stuff on Tony's computer? You know?
it wouldn't be on Tony's computer. And like the
That
fact
was
that
his
like
car, right?
the fact that like she stole it, like the plans for the exact suit that he built.
Hmm.
I mean, I thought the screensaver was weird, but I think it
I
was
think
his
it's on his
office.
private server or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. Why
I'm,
would she have to break into Tony's office? Because Tony sent her. Because
it's
Yeah,
Tony
remember
that's
sent
he's
true.
her.
no. Because
Yeah,
remember
Tony's
Obadiah.
also been like ordered to lay low and like banned from the company because
Mm.
of what he
No,
said at the press conference.
right. Which is
Too.
why Pepper was sent. Tony
Yes.
sent
Yeah.
Pepper in, and I remember Obadiah was like, "Tony sent you." Blah 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 blah. Like he mentioned how like, you know, you made her. Geez, like I would have rather keep her alive or something.
Yeah. It was a tense scene though. Like I thought it was well done
No,
overall.
yeah, that
You
was a good
know.
scene. Yeah,
Yeah. Because like, and he's walking around, and he's like saying this creepy stuff to her, like,
yeah.
"You are a something woman." I don't know what he said.
like
Like,
he's like
"You're a
you're
rare woman." That's what he
yeah.
says.
He's like Tony's lucky to have you or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bad sign right there. That's a red flag.
Yeah. And then like when she like sneakily grabs the newspaper and then the USB at the same time.
Yeah, that was
When I
good.
was a
And
kid, I never understood what she was doing. I was like, how did she grab it without him seeing? Like when I was a kid, like I never understood that part. You know?
and then he asked for the newspaper as she was walking out.
Yeah.
He was a scary villain. Like I thought he did a good job.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. You know, as much as he lacked in character depth, he was pretty scary.
I know he did well. I mean, I wonder how many times. I was just trying to count the amount of times he was like, Tony, Tony, Tony.
Tony. He did say that a
Oh
lot.
man. Oh yeah. He'd always like
Yeah.
get up to Tony and like put his arm around him and be like, Tony. Yeah.
I know. I don't. Yeah,
That was funny. Yeah.
that bothered me a bit. But
What
I
did you guys? Well, go ahead, Ryan.
I was just gonna say one thing. So again, like because I hadn't watched this movie before, I didn't know that Rhodey was played by a different actor.
yeah,
Oh, really?
So like the first scene comes on and I'm like, did he say Rhodey? Like is that who that is? I'm like, no way. And it took me
Yeah.
like 2 scenes to figure it out. I'm like, okay, it definitely is.
I like the newer Rhodey better.
I like the new one better
Yeah,
too.
I
I
did
wanted to see like
Oh.
if you because I definitely like the new one better. This one like
He's fine. You know, like he's not bad.
but like
But the new one is he's just more likable. The newer one.
Yeah, and what I also
think,
thought was interesting is the old actor. I don't remember his name, but I looked it up, and he
Terrence
was the
Howard?
first. He was the first person signed to Iron Man 1. He was paid the most, which was like I was kind of confused.
Yeah.
And like they apparently like they had to reshoot his scenes a bunch. Like
Oh.
Jon Favreau didn't like a lot of the scenes that he was in,
Oh.
so apparently like he had a bunch of trouble like getting the scenes right.
Apparently, he's really difficult to work with, and he demanded a lot of money. Which
Yeah.
is why he wasn't signed on to the sequel.
There you
Who
go.
is that? Oh, the first Rhodey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first Rhodey.
Really?
So, and like, if I look back at that movie, like, does he really, is he really in a position to ask for that much money? Like, I mean, I would
I
assume,
don't know.
I would assume the guy who
Yeah.
took his place, I don't know, it's is it Cheadle, right? That's
Don Cheadle, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if he took less money, like, he did a better job. So I don't know.
Well,
I don't
honestly,
know.
at the end of it, he was probably making like a huge amount because like of all the
Sure,
movies he was in.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But
I
just,
mean, I don't think that Iron Man 2 is worth paying anyone that much, anyways. But we could get to that a different day.
Yeah, Iron Man 2. I mean, it's the worst of the 3 Iron Mans. I mean,
Yeah.
probably.
What
But
do you
yeah,
guys think of like how like Happy was in this movie? Like he was not there at all. You know
He was
what I mean?
young
I
looking.
barely recognized him.
Oh, really?
Like I swear, I did like a triple take. Like I was like, wait, that's him.
No,
like,
same here. He looked completely different. First of all, no beard.
I
Second
know,
of
no
all,
beard.
like he looks so young, skinny.
Yeah, he's also a bit thinner too. I think. Yeah.
But I think what just throws me off, and I don't know if you guys agree, is just like the fact that like characters like this aren't in a lot of these movies. Like Pepper Potts isn't in like outside of these Iron Mans. Like she's really not in that much. She's in a little bit of.
That's true. She's like a couple scenes in there. Yeah.
And then she's in Endgame.
Yeah.
But she's
Very
not in
much so.
a lot of these movies. So like it's same thing with Happy, right? Like he was in this, I guess.
And all the Iron Mans, you know.
I honestly didn't remember him from the other Iron Mans, because I watched those a while ago. And then he was in
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yeah.
So like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like I just didn't recognize him because like I
Yeah.
never
You know
know
that's
when
the
to expect him.
director, right? That's Jon Favreau.
Yeah, he's a director.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's the director, but that was him.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's Happy.
I did not know that. That's funny. That's cool.
Yeah. He also directed the second Iron Man as well.
He did? I know he's directed
And
a bunch.
Jungle Book.
I know, I know he's directed a bunch of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what, but yeah, I did remember that.
Hmm.
Okay.
But yeah, I just was surprised because like I remembered him being in it a lot more when I watched it when I was younger, you know.
Oh, really?
But I guess that's just because I like watch Iron Man 2 and like Iron Man 3 and stuff. But
Mhm.
you know.
So
Yeah.
here
I have no
I have one question about yeah. So if you were to watch this movie and you hadn't seen any of your MCU movies, like would this movie like make you interested in being like, okay, I'm gonna go back and see Iron Man 2? Would you be like, all right, I'm gonna be in the theater, I'm gonna see Iron Man 2, like this has me like hooked? Like I don't know. Do you think it would?
Ooh. That's a hard question because
Yeah.
I have
that's it.
all these
because
other MCU
well,
movies.
because we're doing this from the perspective of we've seen all these movies, right? And it's easy
Right,
to say like,
right.
wow, it's like the character arc's so crazy, it's so good, like all the
Yeah.
characters that were put in, and just yeah. But
I would say yeah. I
you
mean,
would.
and just with the ending's everything. Like just like they always say in
Okay.
school, like
Yeah,
if like
true.
if you have a bad conclusion, like that ruins even if it's a good
That
paper,
ending
it
was really
ruins
good.
everything. And the ending
Yeah.
was just really
It
strong
was
and good. So
revolutionary,
I think yeah. I mean, it's not like at the end of Infinity War, there's not that anticipation,
Yeah.
but it's like a different like thing. Like yeah,
He
when
like
this comes
reveals
out, like
his
I'm
secret
excited.
identity. He says, "I am Iron Man," which like no superhero like ever says. They always keep their identity secret.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yes, they
like
do.
I don't know.
That's pretty
The
cool.
reason yeah,
But it totally fits his character at the same time, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's
it
kind of
does.
Like
cocky,
he gets told
like
by
confidence.
he gets told by Phil Coulson, like, you were on a yacht. Also, Phil
Yeah, here's
Coulson
your
was there.
alibi. Yeah,
That was funny. Yeah, you're on a yacht with a bunch of like
yeah.
girls and like, but then he can't resist. And I don't know. It's just like I feel like that totally fit. Like just
No,
him.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like he had to say it.
I agree with Greg. I think that like because of how it ends, like I would be like, oh yeah, like I like how they're telling this story. But the reason it wasn't an immediate yes for me is that like uh looking back then, I might have been like,
Mm.
you know, uh, it was good, but like, I've seen better action. I mean, the
Yeah.
action was good, but like some of the CGI, I know it was a while ago, was a little bit questionable. But not so much with the Iron Man suits. The Iron Man suits were actually really good, but I
They
thought like
did.
the Jericho missiles look actually really fake at the beginning. That
Oh,
was what I was like, what the heck? I was like,
Hmm.
those look weird. Obviously, that wouldn't affect my choice that much, but I just think that you know, the villain stuff might have affected me a little bit, but
yeah.
I think that I agree with Greg. Like the ending really makes it and like solidifies the movie, especially like it's about Tony Stark and he's a great character
Mm.
and Robert Downey Jr. made that happen.
Yeah,
Yep.
he is.
Yes, he is.
hey,
I
hey.
you mentioned the Jericho missiles, and
Yeah.
I wanted to. I forgot. Thank you for bringing that up because I watched that scene. I don't know. I thought that was. That image was so cool. I didn't even realize that the CGI was bad. I just thought it was cool. Like his whole like
Mm.
when he's introducing the weapons and they crash in the mountains behind him. And he just raises his hands. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of neat. Like it's just
So
like
He was
Tony
really
Stark.
stiff
I
while
know it's
giving
so
that
Tony
speech
Stark, right?
too.
What?
He was really stiff while giving that speech too. Like, I felt like he was uncomfortable. He's like, "I give you the Jericho," and he's like, so he was like super stiff during that
Maybe.
scene. I don't know. I just
Is it
noticed
Tony?
that.
But it's not who Tony is. Like he's always kind of like just very very stiff.
Yeah, I guess, but he had like no movement, and he just, I don't know. That was just my take on it. Is that he
Okay.
felt it felt like he was
But
uncomfortable.
also when he gave that speech and when he put his hands up like with the missiles and everything, that was like before he got captured and everything. So
Yes,
like that like
that's
totally
fair.
fits like he loves his what he's created, his weapons, and wanted to show them off because
Yeah.
why wouldn't he want to, right? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of neat. I thought that was
Yeah.
cool.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys have anything else, but
Well,
Yeah, well, I want to just backtrack a bit and like ask what you guys thought about like Agent Coulson in this movie.
Greg.
not much. I mean, I think I'm not a huge fan of Agent Coulson. I think he's a little like I don't know,
Dry.
boring and a little dry and
Oh,
cocky.
really?
Like I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know. I just don't really
Who
think
else
there's
is
much to
dry and
say for me.
cocky? Oh, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But he also
You
doesn't
would.
bring like a really cool like skill set to the MCU either. So it's like so
Well, I thought it was a good introduction of Shield. Like especially with like when he's like talking about his alibi at the end. He's like, "Trust me, we're good with this stuff." And like,
yeah,
I
I
don't
agree
know.
with that.
I thought, yeah,
Again, this is another one of those things to me that you have to think of the whole universe that we've seen, right? And when I first heard him say where he's from, I was like, sorry, was that Shield? Like, because he spelled out like
yeah,
the full thing, right? Like he said the whole, yeah.
yeah,
I was like, wait a minute,
yeah,
like, okay, but yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. I mean, I kind of agree with Greg. Like Coulson's just kind of, I feel like Coulson's just kind of there, in the
yeah.
movies that he's in. Like he doesn't, and maybe they don't have time, right, to put him in a lot. But I just feel like
Yeah.
he doesn't really add that much, other than in the first Avengers he was a
I
martyr,
can
which
understand
kind of
saying
brought
that,
them
like
back
the
together.
appreciation comes from
But I
watching the
will
rest of
say,
the. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was to say one more thing. I will say that, um, okay, I didn't remember what I was going to say, but there was another thing I was going to say. In Captain Marvel, you have to remember, like, when you said, like, we're good with this stuff. Like, Captain Marvel
Yeah,
took place, like,
that's true.
20 years, what is it,
Yeah.
15, 20 years prior to,
Hmm.
when Iron Man took place. So it's just kind of
Sure.
funny. Like, they know what they're doing with this because at this point, they've
Yeah.
seen aliens, right? So
That's
Yeah.
that's a good point.
it's just kind of funny to keep in mind.
Without
Right.
context, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you guys are all you both brought up the point that like we're looking at this from the perspective of like people who have seen the MCU and we understand the universe and like you know especially in the case of like Agent Coulson or Shield or something like that, people would just be like, "What?" if they didn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
But it is based off a comic book, and like if you're like familiar with the source material, like that's like a good thing to have in there for someone who's if for like a comic book movie, you
Oh,
know.
no doubt.
I mean, and I don't think it's like so out of place that it like makes people kind of go like, huh, like explain that to me, you know what I mean? Like as if you were like watching an adaptation of a book and it has something like from another book that was mentioned, and you're like, what the heck is that? Because like
Right.
with that, I don't know. I just appreciated it as like a comic book fan, you know.
No, I think Greg and I mean, I don't know about Greg, but I thought it was cool. Like, I thought it was cool that you mentioned Shield. Like, I wasn't saying that was like, I thought that was neat. And like,
Just Coulson himself
people
was
who,
your
yeah, well, not, it's just like, and it's unfair because I know he's in Agents of Shield, the TV show, right? And I think it's what 6 seasons or something. So like,
I don't know.
I haven't watched that personally. So
I stopped watching
I'm
that
sure,
show.
yeah, I'm sure there's a lot more, but I'm sure there's a lot more to Coulson there.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, I think even if people were to criticize like adding in Shield and be like, that made no sense. Like, if you're not a comic book
Hmm.
fan, like they're gonna just they'd have to like eat their words later on because it became like it was the centerpiece of everything. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I thought that was
Yeah.
kind of neat
Well,
as well.
I thought overall it was just a pretty pivotal movie to start with.
Yeah.
But of
Just
course,
'cause
yeah.
considering how important the MCU is in cinema,
Yeah.
and considering how that is important in the MCU, I just
Mhm.
that makes this movie important in cinema. So it's
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it changed everything.
Yeah, it did.
I have one more question, which is
Okay,
Uh-oh.
yeah.
about Jarvis. Like, I want to hear you guys like input on like the introduction of Jarvis and like what you thought about that. And stuff, you know?
Greg.
First thing I thought was like, how did they get oh gosh, what's the actor's name again?
Paul something?
Yeah, how'd they get
I don't remember his last name.
Oh
Paul,
my
is it
God.
Paul
Bettany?
Bettany? Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany.
Bettany.
Yeah.
Bettany.
Yes.
How'd they get Paul Bettany to just do an automated voice? Like
Yeah.
why did they think of him? Just I mean, he has a really good soothing British voice, maybe. But
I'm
like
sure.
yeah, I thought the Jarvis thing was pretty cool. I thought like
It
I
was-
was just thinking like, oh, how did he get that in his suit? Like that's
Yeah.
that's
And
pretty cool.
and Jarvis has a great personality too. You know, he's like,
Yeah, he does.
sir. Yeah.
No, he's like, sir. No, yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah. I mean, I think like the first introduction, I just rewatched it recently, obviously because I hadn't watched it yet. But like, his first introduction was like, he was like calibrating the first Iron Man suit or something, right?
Mhm.
And he just like
Yeah.
first year Jarvis, and I think for me, he just grew on me for each movie because he's in every Iron Man movie, every movie that Iron Man's in,
I
like
know.
pretty much throughout the whole universe. And I remember when he became Vision.
Vision.
I swear I remember being sad because I was like, now Iron Man doesn't have
Me too.
Jarvis in his
Now
head.
he's got
Dude.
Friday.
I know. I was sad.
Jarvis is way better than Vision. Not to knock on Vision or anything, but
Yeah.
Jarvis is like
Okay,
way
but
better than Vision.
I'm a
we don't-
Vision fan. I
we
like
don't have to
Vision.
go into this now, but I feel like Jarvis was better than Vision. Okay,
Yeah,
Vision.
I
There wasn't
agree.
really much to Vision, to
I like
me.
Vision.
Yeah.
I like Vision. He was
But
pretty
yeah,
emotionally
I
deep.
don't know when
He's
Jarvis.
fine.
He was fine.
Yeah.
But when Jarvis left, I was like, no, like
We can just agree that Friday
Yeah.
is worse than Jarvis.
Yeah. Friday's fine.
Friday.
She's fine.
It's not that she's worse than Jarvis just because Jarvis was like so good. It wasn't that Friday was fine. Like if
Yeah.
it was fine.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah.
This is not Iron Man related. The original movie related. But yeah.
But yeah, no, that was cool. Like, there's a bunch of character introductions even in the first movie. Like, and looking at this movie, you wouldn't think like, wow, the computer AI talking in his ear when he's in his house and in his suit, he's going to be in like every MCU, like every
Yeah, no,
major
you
MCU
wouldn't
movie.
think so. Yeah.
Like you would never think that. So
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just kind of
This
cool.
is a character movie, and the characters are great.
Mm-hmm.
they are.
Yes, they
Amen.
are. And I don't know. I think we've talked a fair amount about this. I don't know if you have any other like questions about it. I was gonna ask one more question, but if you have, if either of you have anything else, we
Yeah,
can.
Fire away.
there's one more
Yeah.
thing that I wanted to mention. I mean, you don't have to respond to it, but
Okay.
one thing I noticed is like the transitions between scenes were a little wonky sometimes. Like they do like a wipe, like Star Wars does sometimes and stuff
Oh.
like that, which you don't normally see like in blockbusters these days. Which I just thought was curious. I'm not a fan personally of like the weird transitions, but I guess they made up for it by the fact that like the actual transitions within the story, like when they're talking about something and then it cuts to that thing, were actually good. So yeah,
It's a good
Yeah.
observation.
That's
That's
something I noticed.
Connor. I think it's good to accentuate that Connor is a film expert.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I'm a film major at ASU. But
Mm.
what's your question, Ryan?
No,
Take us away.
well, I was just gonna say like okay, because Connor's a film major, he knows a lot more about this than Greg and I. Like I never really thought of that. Transitions are so like from the common like movie viewer, you don't really pay attention to them when they're good, but when they're bad, it stands out to you. So it's just kind of interesting. Like they're so important, but yet like if they do a good job, it's like you don't really. I don't know. To me, you don't really notice that much.
Yeah.
But all right, I was just gonna end with so you know, for us, we kind of so what we're gonna plan on doing is hopefully do a pretty consistent like reviews and talking about movies. And I know we're gonna want to talk about MCU movies like down the road in the future, whenever that may be. So I kind of wanted to just end with just overall, you can build off this movie and just overall, like I wanted to get it out there who your favorite MCU character is, and just like a quick,
Okay.
just a quick like short thing as to like why you feel like that, like why that is. I don't know if either of you want to say.
I think Greg wants to go first.
Greg?
Well, okay, so it's always been between Tony Stark and Thor, and for, I would say it's equal, but I really don't believe in there being a tie for this kind of stuff. So in the end, Thor is
Okay.
my favorite MCU character, just because I don't know, he's also just a really like multifaceted, like his many layers, and it's got tragedy and I don't know, love and all that. And I don't know, I just think he just I don't know, I really like how he develops as well. Like he doesn't take everything so seriously, things so seriously, um and he's just really badass and
Yeah.
powerful and just really cool. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I will say real quick, like I think one of his best scenes is him and Rocket talking on that ship. Was it in Infinity War? Yes, it was, wasn't it? When they're talking on the ship
Yeah.
in space, and he's sitting there and he just goes, my mom's dead, my dad's dead,
Yeah.
my brother. Like he's just like I don't know. It's just like that.
I
It
know.
just hits. It just yeah. So that's
Yeah,
funny.
no,
I'm
it
looking
really
forward to
did.
seeing where they go with Thor in the
Yeah,
future.
that's a good one. What'd you say?
I'm just looking forward to see where they go with Thor in the future.
Yeah, I'm glad they kept him. I'm glad they kept him.
Really excited to review that movie.
Connor.
I mean, look, Tony Stark has the best character arc in the series, right? Like he has the most change and it's like super moving and stuff. But like if we're talking about my favorite character, Tony Stark's great and all, but I like characters that are a little more like me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So like I almost want to say Ant-Man just because I love how funny he is and
Wow.
like just like Scott Lang, like how he used to be a criminal, but he just like looks at life so positively all the time and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's good.
But I don't think that he's like as deep and complex as some of the other characters are. And
Just say it. Who's your favorite?
down to earth. What are you waiting for?
No, who's your favorite?
I'm waiting for Captain.
My favorite would be Captain America.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, just because like he's like always trying to do the right thing, and like even if it like conflicts with other stuff, which I know some of you might disagree with some of the actions he's taken in the films, but
That's another conversation.
yeah, that's another conversation. But like even his movies are my favorite too. Like Winter Soldier, Civil War, and like First Avenger are such a good trilogy together, even without watching the rest of the MCU. And like he has his own great character arc as well. And like, but even before he was Captain America, like he was Captain America, like his mind and stuff like that. And he really grows and like learns about the world along the way. Yeah, I mean,
No, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've had many debates about this before. I mean, we can talk about this, I'm sure on future, episodes when we go more into depth on, future MCU movies.
Sure.
But yeah, no. So Thor and Captain America, and obviously everyone knows. I mean, I think I mentioned it earlier, but I mean, you guys both know who my favorite is. It's been well documented that I'm a major Iron Man fan, and I will say
yes.
Thor was my favorite for a while, but Iron Man's just so, I don't know, he's just so cool, and Connor made a good point. Like you like the characters who you can relate to.
Yeah.
Iron Man's just so he's just so quick. He's just, I don't know, he's just so quick, and he's so like, he's quirky, but he's just cool. Like he's a leader, like he's everything. I don't know. There's so many facets. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Especially
Oh yeah, he's he's awesome, as I said. Like,
and a lot of people, it's kind of a a stereotypical cliche. Like, yeah, I'm an Iron Man fan, but yeah, I just think he's really awesome. So
yeah, no, he's awesome.
yeah,
for sure.
that's mine. I don't know if you guys have any final thoughts or anything, but no, if not, that's okay.
Do you guys think that, like, I mean, I feel like Greg doesn't like the Guardians of the Galaxy, but I think they're really great characters too.
I'm not
like,
as big. I'm not as big on those.
I think Rocket and Groot are very good, and Star-Lord as well are really good.
I like Rocket. I like Rocket. I'm not a Star-Lord fan. I am very anti Star-Lord.
I mean, sometimes he's kind of annoying, but he's a good character. You agree, Ryan?
I agree, but like I think, and maybe this goes with Greg a little bit, I think that the Guardians are better in their own bubble. I think they're good with like that group.
That's fair.
Like they have like, they're really like, their chemistry is just fantastic. Especially in the
I
first one,
agree.
but in both the movies, like they did really good. And Thor, by the way, we'll talk about like adding Thor to that, if he is in fact in the next Guardians. Like I think that's gonna work out. He's really good with the humor. I think it was in was it Ragnarok, or was it the one before? I think it was right.
Yeah.
That he was really good in that, with like the whole like humor and stuff. But I like Star-Lord. I like Star-Lord.
Yeah. Do we want to like bring it back around to Iron Man to finish it up here?
Sure.
Is there any way that we want to like grade or rate Iron Man?
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Okay, we can do this. This could be a normal thing. Like we could do.
Greg,
we could do it.
You want to give a rating here?
Are we doing it out of like letter grades, like minuses, pluses?
I was thinking.
What are you thinking, Greg? What do you feel like?
Rotten Tomato score, like out of 100%.
You make the scale.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
All right.
Come on, give a percentage out of 100.
Yeah.
All right. I give it a 82.
Ooh,
wow.
82.
Wow, a little lower than I thought.
Lower than I thought, yeah.
Oh,
wow.
That's a pretty good score.
Okay.
I never wanted on a test, but
Connor?
I think it's a pretty good score.
I think. Now I feel like I have to.
I can go if you want to think about it.
No. But like, I thought my score was low, and I was gonna say like an 89. Is what I thought. Like, I thought it would be lower than both yours, but I would give it an 89. You know.
I'll go with. I was gonna give it like an 86. Is what I was gonna go with.
Oh, we're right in the same range.
Wow.
Yeah,
you guys are harsh. I feel like I liked it
the
less
problem
than both
is,
of you.
I'm just but I'm grading it as an individual movie. I just like, if you include, I think it's much higher if you include like with a trajectory of the future movies. Yeah. But like for me, like I could name. I think most of I'd say most of the movies in the MCU are better than it.
Yeah, I would agree.
Really?
Yeah, I'd say the majority.
I'd say top 4 or 5.
Really?
Wow. That's wow. Okay.
It's controversial.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Well, we can do this more next time. The next time we meet about MCU.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely going to be a topic of discussion. Like at some point, we'll have to talk about where we put these MCU movies. That's definitely
that could be its own. That could be its own.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that really could be its own thing. So
yeah,
yeah, but
So much.
I don't know. I think this was really good. Talking about the
yeah,
MCU, talking about Iron Man, and
yeah.
I think in the future we're gonna try to be going. We're gonna try to keep on the track of somewhere around once every week. Hopefully we'll get that worked out. Um,
Yeah.
with we'll go with movies and TV shows. We'll kind of alternate. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, I think this went great, and I don't know. Thanks everyone for watching, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
hope everyone
Yeah.
enjoys. And we'll be
Thanks.
back. We should be back next week. So be ready and tune in. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Keep an
Yeah.
eye out.